Welcome back to this latest episode of Safe Haven. I am one of your hosts, Justin, and I just wanted to say a few words before we get started with this episode. So after the part 1 of this episode, we did get information and evidence that proves Lon Wright was not involved with Judy's murder, and I just wanted to take the time to point that out. And the reason I do is because instead of clipping out the parts where this person mentions Lon being involved, we wanted to play the call in its entirety. So that information was left in there, but we wanted to put out something before the episode that kind of says, hey, after that first part 1, we did get information and evidence that says Lon is not involved. Thank you for joining us. This is The Call, Part 2. Here on the Safe Haven podcast, any names mentioned should not be considered as suspects unless officially stated as such by law enforcement. Any opinions during interviews on this podcast are the opinions of the interviewee and don't reflect the opinions of the Safe Haven podcast or the AMU cold case team. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
When Billy mentioned that they took the tractor up there, how did they get up there?
Driveway. He said they went up the driveway.
From where?
From Route 31. That's what he said.
And the tractor, do you mean like an actual tractor or an ATV or a...
That could have been that could have been an ATV or anything to that effect, because I don't know how the road would have been up there. I have no idea. I know back when I was in high school and stuff, and they always parked at the bottom of the hill and walked up to pack their groceries and everything up the hill. I don't know. It's almost a 3/4 of a mile up that mountain. It's pretty good distance up there.
So one of the great things about this clip that I liked is really talking about how they got Judy up to the farm, because we've always kind of wondered. Chris drops her off. He says, and has repeatedly said she was fine. Dropped her off. She was fine. This person says, Billy says that they brought her up off of Route 31, which is right out by the driveway. What do you think about that?
We look back at this phone call and it's just the specifics of the information that get to me every single time. Like, this person was not there. This person has no idea who Judy even is, but still is able to corroborate specific information. That's personally a lot of what I take from it, was just the detail of what he's saying.
And I often, the one thing that I took from that clip as well is that this person asked Billy, were you there? Were you involved? Billy didn't deny it, and he didn't, say yes. So I feel like he was not comfortable. He went halfway. So I do believe that he was present. I do believe obviously this caller as well, this person believes he knew a lot more. And he says that Billy was not telling him everything. And I think that has to do with comfort, that you're ashamed. Absolutely. Or Billy knew Judy. She, they grew up together. So whatever happened, well, we know what happened, but it weighs on Billy. And so I don't think he wanted to talk about the specific details, but Billy himself did say, hell no, I wasn't there. This is just what I heard. Again, Billy brought this conversation up to this person.
Yes, absolutely.
Billy knows.
And Billy knows what happened.
Yeah.
He knew what happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was a good point that you brought up, is the fact that I think Billy didn't want to be the bad guy, but he still wanted to say what was going on.
Yeah.
Whether it weighed on him, whatever the reasons might be. Again, you pointed out that Billy brought up the conversation. He started just going.
Yeah.
And when we talked to this person initially, I mean, we even asked this person, hey, why didn't you tell somebody about this?
Right.
What they said made perfect sense after we got in depth, especially with Doug on the phone call. But it's just a very revealing part of the phone call, I think.
It is.
Personally, because you get a little bit of insight from the person who got the information, and they're questioning it too.
Yeah.
They're like, why were you there? Like, what did you do? And Billy never denies it, but he never says that he was involved, but you know that he knows what happened.
Yes.
And that's the part that gets to me the most.
Yeah. And that's why I think that this information, why our team has gone in this direction, is you cannot have all of these things and not have it be true.
Absolutely.
This just, again, shows that Billy himself doesn't say, I wasn't there, I wasn't involved, right? He doesn't say that. And I think he would say that. I think that he was getting so nervous and this was stressing him out. And there was a lot of things going on. He was about to come into a lot of money. Who knows if this isn't being held over his head? You give so much money,
100%.
right? And based on what we know about Kim, and this clip, this person also mentions Kim again and talks about how she is in charge, right? And she's calling the shots. And so this goes back to, again, Kim not wanting to talk, Kim telling other people not to talk to us, being protected by Kansas. This person 6 months ago was
and the way she acted talking to Jennifer, not to interrupt you, but when Jennifer was talking about her mannerisms and the way she acted, after I re-listened to this phone call, re-listened to that, I was like, man, like if people only understood where we were coming from, and now we have an opportunity to let people know where we were coming from. Now you guys see what's going on and why we went the direction we went.
With the tractor, whose tractor or ATV would that have been?
Well, Billy had ATV and Billy had a tractor. Billy had both. He had ATV, he had four-wheelers, and he had a tractor. I don't.
And he didn't say when talking if she was alive when they took her up there?
The only thing Billy said was they went to the bar and went in the bar, took her there. That was all he said. That was it. They went up there with the tractor and they killed her and burned her up in the corn crib. He kept calling it a corn crib.
When he's saying they, who do you think he's referring to?
Mitchell and Johnny and whoever was up there doing whatever it is they were doing, and they had to, they burned her up inside, and they had to do it, they had to cover it up somehow. And that would have been Lon and John and Bob, because Mitchell, I don't think, would have the sense to doing stuff. I mean, he might have the sense, he might have, not the sense, but he might have the encouragement to, to get violent and kill her, but then, now what do I do? That's my opinion. Well, now what do I do?
And the John that you're talking about is John Wright?
Correct. Lon's brother. Lon and then John. I think they're real close to the same age, like two years apart or whatever. And then you got another one, and then you got Bob, which is the baby, I think.
The one thing about that clip that I don't fully agree with, and I understand, we put a lot of stake in this phone call, actually both phone calls. I just don't see Judy going into that bar. I really don't. I mean, I could see her getting picked up in a situation where she's in a vehicle where people are at that bar or had to stop at that bar while she's in the vehicle. But I have a hard time seeing her walking into a bar.
Yeah. And, and I think later on I do ask that question too, is we've talked to so many people and she was never in the bar. And what was specified was Billy said, well, she wasn't in the bar. Whoever she came with was in the bar. But even that I can't wrap my head around, because when we look at the timeline and we look at everything, how does Chris pick her up walking towards the farm, which is opposite of the bar, but yet she was picked up and taken to the bar. So how does that all come together? And the only thing I can think of, again, if anybody was there, if anybody knows anything, let us know. But we have that gap of time, right? And the gap is kind of closed
Yes.
because Chris, I think, is off on his time. But even so, I don't see Judy getting in the car with somebody. Well, I can't say that anymore because she got in the car with Chris, who she didn't know. But
Correct.
I could see Judy get in the car with Billy if Billy was going to the bar. But I don't even know if I believe that because Billy was different.
A little bit.
Didn't have the best hygiene.
But maybe that was the familiarity.
Maybe.
You know, like they knew each other.
Maybe.
She might have felt, somewhat relaxed or safe or whatever the case might be. Maybe it was that,
But then how do you get her then leaving the bar and Chris picks her up?
The only situation that I could think of personally is if that person she was with or supposedly with went into the bar and they were in there for an extended period of time to where she got tired of waiting and she decided to walk.
Yeah.
And just say, screw it, I'm going to get out. I'm going to walk the rest of the way home. They can sit in there for however long they want.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal speculation.
Yeah. And that's the thing we're kind of going back and forth on, right? Because I do believe there's a lot of details in this call. I do believe what this person is saying that Billy said. This is one thing I cannot figure out or section, and there's always something, right, that doesn't make sense in any case that you're just like, I don't know if that fits anything. And
well, I remember at the beginning it was Chris and his timeline.
Yes, that timeline.
But as soon as we got that case file and saw that there were witness statements that corroborated her path of travel in the time frame, we were like, all right, good, like this does make sense now. She did it.
Yeah, and I do think that Chris would have said, yeah, at the bar if she came in. I do believe that. But then,
oh, for sure.
But then when I asked that question, this person was like, no, Billy said she wasn't in the bar. She was outside with whoever she came with. Why is she outside? So then in my head, I'm thinking, okay, did she walk, get a ride, go to the bar, and be like, I don't want to go in?
Yes.
I'm leaving. I'm going to go walk to the farm. And then they're realizing, shit, she's going up to the farm. Chris picks her up. I mean, he was at the bar. Mm-hmm. So
no, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like my train of thought.
Yeah. I'd be curious if anyone has any thoughts on this. Because I can't put it together yet. And we do know Billy was at the bar. He was at the bar all the time. We do know, and I've talked to people who said, yeah, there was drugs moving out of Reese's store and the bar from the Wright family. So is this all connected? I don't know. But clearly, Judy crossed the paths with these individuals. And Billy obviously said that this is what happened. So I just can't wrap my head around it.
No, I agree. And I just ask people to keep in mind, we're not saying Billy is innocent in this because he could have been putting himself outside of the situation as an outsider who just knew information. But in reality, he just didn't want to be the bad guy to have any fault on his shoulders while he's saying everything. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in the back of your mind too for the listeners.
Yeah, it's almost like, when people go halfway with confessions, they want to put a lot of distance between themselves and the crime, right? But as you continue to question, they continue to put themselves closer. And it could be, and I know we've talked about this as a team before. Did Judy get in the car with Billy because she was exhausted, she was tired, and he came upon her first? She knows him, even given all the heuristics, right? She was like, okay, he's like, well, I'm going to go to the bar. Maybe she has to go to the bathroom. She's diabetic. So we're thinking, well, that kind of makes sense, right? But if she didn't go into the bar, maybe she got there and was like, this doesn't feel right. I'm just going to go walk. But again, I think Chris would have said, well, maybe Chris didn't see her because she didn't go in the bar. That's
absolutely.
But I could go round and round on this. I just don't.
Oh, for sure.
Of information as to why Billy said this. better know why.
Nope, I'm right on board with you. For the listeners, we are commentating as we go. We have certain timestamps and we're reviewing them and going over them. So it's hard to remember, the specific details of each timestamp. But it just goes back to our previous conversation a few minutes ago.
One of the specific things in that conversation is this person doesn't deny that Billy didn't know Judy. This person's very familiar. Like, yeah, Billy knew everybody. I mean, that's just kind of his personality. So it wasn't discounting that Judy wouldn't get in the car with Billy. So again, it's just kind of wondering where this bar comes into play. And it's frustrating. I just don't understand it. I don't understand.
It is. And we can sit here and go rounds and spend an hour speculating on that whole specific scenario. But I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to, like the brass tacks of the specific information that's being provided that correlates with information that we have that is not public, along with, some of our certain theories and stuff like that. And the end result, unfortunately, is the same.
It is. It's just those little details that sometimes you just never get. And we just may never know. And Billy didn't elaborate, unfortunately. So it makes you again wonder, did he just make that up? Did he not know? Why wouldn't he go into more detail about that? And, saying they. So.
Yeah, and you can tell this person was trying to ask more information.
Definitely.
But Billy was just kind of going around it and just trying to tell the full story. So, my hat's off to this caller and the person who provided us with this info, because we get it, we were asking the same things.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. We gotta go on what we got.
It is.
Kimberly is your weak link. If you but you're telling me right now, you'll have to point a Howard for her in order to talk, because she knows things. She's not going to tell you nothing.
Just for the listeners, Melissa snipped out this 10-second clip, 15 seconds. She's like, I can't remember exactly why this was super important, but it's only 10 seconds or 15 seconds. And we just played it because, like I said, there's a lot of timestamps, a lot to keep track of. And as soon as I heard that, I remember listening to this, just reviewing it a couple weeks ago. And when I heard that, that's when I texted Melissa and was like, oh shit, this is where he straight up corroborated what we've experienced for the last 6 months. And it was total foreshadowing on this person's part. That one gets me, because it was complete. That you guys got to remember, this call was
before Billy and Mitchell came into our radar. Before
we even started doing episodes about Billy and Mitchell and the information that we received from these calls.
Yes. So it was so funny because I really was like, I don't know what this was. Justin is like 10 seconds. I'm like, because he was telling me, oh, it's 10 seconds. I'm like, I don't do math, but okay. And so I'm like, I don't remember what it is, because I listened to this last weekend or something and put all these timestamps down. So I take a drink as we're listening, and then I almost spit it out, because I was like, that's the clip. I mean, holy shit for us, because if everyone's been following along, Kim has been everything but cooperative, but he's also saying she's the weakest link, which I find so interesting, because who's protecting Kim from talking?
Yeah.
Anybody?
And he even said,
Bueller?
This person even says you're going to have to point a howitzer at her to get her to talk.
Yes.
Just the accuracy of it all.
I mean, it's spot on. Spot on. Because nobody will let us get to Kim. I mean, Kansas blocked Jennifer right away. Like, how dare you, right? Everyone is shielding Kim. And this person's like, she's your weakest link. She will talk. She will talk. So people aren't going to allow you to talk to her. And voila, here we are. That was the best clip.
All right.
Yes,
it was. That was one of the ones I texted you about. Yes. I was like, oh, there's gold in here that we totally forgot about that actually played out.
Yes.
The way that the caller said it was going to play out 6 months ago.
Yes.
Before we even.
Yeah. And that shows this person has information and knows that is already saying, listen, Kim ain't going to talk to you. She's the weakest link, but other people are going to protect her so that she doesn't talk to you because she will talk if she feels like she's cornered.
Absolutely.
Okay. Kim and Bob and Mitchell.
Bob, first of all, is affiliated with all of the Little Wright family down there with Lon and John and Rich, which died. But they all were affiliated with a thing called methamphetamine, and they all do their own little, they have their own little gang of stuff that goes on in the little bar up the street by the Reese's store. And Lon Wright runs it, and they all do all this stuff. And they were involved somehow, I don't know how. Billy and Mitchell, who was Kimberly's son, and Johnny, which was a relative of Mitchell, they were doing the methamphetamine thing in the auction house.
Well.
Yep.
And for the listeners, that was from the original phone call with just this person and Melissa. Again, you heard it corroborated earlier on, which was in the second phone call, but they laid it out.
Yeah. And what was interesting about this first call with this person was that he did specifically mention Reese's store and also the bar. So we just kind of are going back again. Like I said, this person, the multiple times that I talked to this person, was saying the same information.
Anytime you get close to anybody down there, you will be putting your life in danger. And the sheriff, which was the deputy sheriff that lived up the street, well, he's the watchdog for them all. Any of them getting in any trouble, they're the first person they call. He's the first person that covers up stuff and things like this. The reason I know this information was because Billy told me all about the situation in 15, and a week later, he was dead.
That clip, when I first heard it, because, again, this is the first phone call we got.
Mm-hmm.
It struck me because I know how these situations work. We're always cautious. And what made me worry when we heard that was the fact that we were planning a trip going back out there. And I was more concerned for your safety above anybody else's, because between me, Jen, and Alan, and even George for that matter, I feel comfortable in a situation like that. And that's no offense to you, Melissa. Please don't take it as that. But I was more concerned, like, when I heard that, because I was like, man, Melissa's gonna freak out. Mm-hmm. But I mean, when we go out there, we do have enough support. We don't really have to concern ourselves with any of this type of stuff. Like, everybody in law enforcement knows where we're going, where we're going to be. So it's just a matter of, are you going to be dumb enough to try to do something to us?
Yeah, exactly. So
well, that was my whole thing.
Yeah. And it was a little, again, because we, again, have not investigated the rights. We didn't have much information on them. We are already planning a trip. And if you remember, for our listeners, we actually delayed our trip due to this phone call because we actually wanted to get more information before we showed up. So we actually delayed our trip to a later time period so that we could have the support, because Doug was actually not going to be in town. So due to that as well, we didn't want to go without Doug. I obviously shared this information with Doug, and he got very concerned for me because I'm very much a pit bull, if you will. And I like continue to go after and talk to people, and like, I'll do it on my own, like whatever. And then, Doug's like, and so when we heard this call, I was like, I'm not worried. And Doug's like, hold on a minute. So he wanted to be there because he wanted to ensure that the team was safe. Because of course, when you hear anything like this person was warning us that you don't want to mess with the Wright family. So then, of course, I'm talking with Doug, sharing this information. Are you familiar with this family? Who are they? What's going on? Doug was the drug force go-to person back in 2008. He didn't know this family. He didn't know their name. And that could be because it was small time stuff, right? Or not on his level of what he was working on. But that was obviously an initial concern for us when we heard this information, and why this person did not contact law enforcement when he heard this information from Judy was the fear of the rights. And I've heard that many times. I want to stay anonymous. I don't want my information out there because I don't trust them. They are vindictive, yada, yada, yada.
Well, I'll be honest, they can come out to my neck of the woods anytime they want to.
So, yeah, I mean, when we got that kind of, I took it as obviously very seriously at first. This is the first time I'm hearing, like, who the hell are these people and why is someone so afraid of them?
So we have her walking on Old St. Mary's Pike and Laurel Creek. I wondered if she didn't show up at the sundown to like take a break. She was diabetic. Was she tired? Did she have to go to the bathroom? But we, can't get anybody to confirm she was in the bar. But of course, if she was, they're not going to say yes. Did you say that the Wrights own the Sundown Bar?
No.
Oh.
No. They run all the drug in and out of like 2 or 3 bars. Now there's 2 or 3 bars that they did that in. And also the auction house. They would sell the methamphetamine and stolen property at the auction house. And Billy wanted to stop it. And 2 weeks later, he's dead. Through the concession stand. They were selling it through the concession stand.
Okay. So that's where I'm wondering. Okay. Anything else that like Billy could tell you about? Was he with Mitchell when this happened to Judy?
He didn't say he was there. And I asked him several times, did you do this? Was you there? He did not confirm that he was there. But he didn't say no. He didn't say yes, and he didn't say no. So I have to say that maybe he was affiliated somehow. I don't know. Maybe the Wrights took him up there later on because that's where, he knew more about the farm than most people because he was up there several times from my understand. But I really don't know that for a fact. But he did confirm that Mitchell and John and Bob Wright and Johnny Wright was all there.
Did Billy say how they got up the driveway?
He said they took a tractor up there. He said they took a tractor up there. That's what he said. He didn't say what kind. He just, he was not real lucid with me. He just said we took a tractor up there.
So he might have been there. Did he say how Judy was or what was going on or anything? Did he hear any details about it?
No, I did not. No, I did not. I just heard that, he told me that they did it and they killed her and they cooked her in the corn crib. That's what he said.
Okay, and no reason for why they killed her, just they had her?
He told me that she knew information about what they were doing from in town. Apparently there was something went on in town. He told me, and she found out that who and what was doing what, and they found out about it, and that's why they killed her.
That they were making meth maybe on their property?
I do not know that. That was not told to me, but I wouldn't put it past them. I would not put it past them because a lot of empty places out there they could cook whatever they wanted to at any place.
Right, and that's what I'm wondering is if did she come upon that happening? But from what Billy's account was, that she was out at the Sundowners and then they went from there.
Correct. That's what I was told because something went on in town and she found out. Maybe she found out in town that they were cooking it out there. I don't know. I don't know that.
Well, and I'm also, the other possibility we're looking at, is it possible that when they dropped her off, Chris Cutright, who did work out at Sundowners and part of that whole scene, maybe he called somebody and said, hey, she's up there.
I don't really know that because I don't know any of that part of that. I just know that what I was told. That's all. You got to understand that the Wrights have a little funny scheme goes on. Well, they don't keep anything in the house. They keep it in their so-called, a chicken coop or whatever it is outside. It's an outbuilding outside. They keep everything in outbuildings. So that way, if they do that's what the sheriff told them, that if it's not in the house, then we can't seize your property. But if it's outside, then you can claim it's somebody else's. And that's what they do. They store the stuff outside, all the stolen property and the meth and the drugs and all the guns and all the other garbage in their little chicken coops outside and in outbuildings outside of their property, outside of the main living house, main dwelling. And that's what they were told by the sheriff. If you keep it out there, then we don't have to seize your property or your house. Your house is not in danger, because it's where you can say somebody else put it there and you didn't know anything about it. Just don't lock the building.
That makes sense. We're planning a trip back to Parkersburg to re-look at everything again. Did Billy say how they killed her?
No, he just said that she was dead, and they burned her in the corn crib. That's all she said. He didn't say nothing else about what, how, what's going on. He just said who was there, and they cooked her in the corn crib.
Do you mean by that, do you mean the cellar? The corn, what is the corn?
Well, they had outbuildings. There was places where they would keep different things, and he called things different stuff, and I don't know, but wherever it was an underground facility where she was found. It was down underground, and he called it the corn crib.
What I find interesting is this person goes into a little bit more information that, according to this person, Billy had said that the Wrights were dealing methamphetamines, different drugs through different bars and the auction house. So again, it seems like the Reese's store, the Sundowners, is a location where this was going on. And we do know that Chris Cartwright was a frequent flyer at the Sundowner bar. We know that Billy was there a lot. I have heard that Mitchell and John would show up from time to time. So it just shows that there's this inner circle of things going on, and it's drug related. Was there anything else in that clip that you wanted to talk about?
Not really. Just the fact that, again, when we asked questions that were not true or not right, this person corrected us.
Yes.
Like when you went and asked, okay, so the Wrights own that bar, this person was like, no, they didn't own the bar. They just ran drugs out of it, and they ran drugs out of the other ones. And it's little things like that people, I think, need to recognize.
Yeah. And this person too would say, I don't know that. Billy did say that. And over again, which helps me believe, like we talked about, this person isn't adding anything more to what Billy said or didn't say. If Billy didn't specify, this person's saying, I don't know. So I think that really, again, helps show that this is really what Billy had said to this person.
Correct.
All right. So I think that's it.
Well, Melissa, what do you think about all that?
I think this is great. I'm actually really excited for the listeners to hear this episode so that they can be caught up or know what we have been looking at for the last few months and understanding the strategies, what we've been going through, why we've been focusing on the Wrights, why we've been wanting to talk to Kim, why we've been doing the things that we've been doing. Is when you hear this, there's a lot of specific details that were provided by Billy to this person that he trusted.
I could not agree more. It's the one thing that got me in the group. Somebody said, oh, this is just a witch hunt. It's like, you know what? You might want to look up the definition, because this is not a witch hunt at all. We have reasons for what we do and who we want to talk to and why, and just because we don't disclose those reasons doesn't mean we're just throwing out baseless accusations or speculations. These 2 phone calls right here are why we went the direction we did. And I'll be honest with you, Melissa, you know as well as I do, Billy was at the top of the list from day one. Mm-hmm. And we moved him down the list after, we found out about Chris and we started getting into things more. Mm-hmm. You guys have to realize, as listeners, this person has never heard this podcast. They have no idea what's going on with this.
No.
As soon as this person picked up the phone or answered the call, they just started going into it.
Yes.
And it was like, holy shit. Yeah. Okay. We have to go in this direction now. So for those of you who are, trying to accuse us of this and that and throw around accusations about us harassing you and you're going to sue us and all this dumb shit. We have reasons for what we do, and I'm glad that the listeners have an opportunity to listen to some of the information that we have had and we've been sitting on for like 6 months, and why we went the direction we went.
Right. And like we said before too, it gives Billy a voice, and a lot of people
For sure.
have said, well, Billy's a scapegoat. And I mentioned this with Jennifer in our last episode, is if we were interested in scapegoating, we would have still be on Chris Cutright, but we're not.
Oh, for sure.
And
he's the easiest one.
And the rights, to me, given what Billy himself has said, very specific information, have been just fine with Chris being the scapegoat for 15 years.
Oh, they're fine with, of course. They're fine with
now
it.
that we're looking and saying, listen, this is what Billy's saying, that Mitchell killed Judy and you're all involved. Now it's an issue. So it's just part of the investigation process. But I am so glad to be at this point. I think we've made a tremendous amount of progress in the year and a half almost that we've been on Judy's case, and bringing names that have never been mentioned and details that have never been mentioned before. And it makes sense if you're dealing with a cop who was familiar with the family.
Absolutely. And that cop was the first one to divert attention when we originally talked to him. And that's, again, another thing with this phone call. When that got brought up, it goes back to, oh shit, that makes sense. It's with unsolved cases, it's like putting puzzle pieces together.
It is.
You have certain sections that are whole, and you have all those missing parts.
Yep.
And as you go along, after months or weeks, whatever the case might be, you start filling in those sections with information, and then hopefully one day you get a complete picture, and that's what we all strive for.
Absolutely.
And I can almost guarantee the intelligent ones are going to be right on board with us, because I can almost guarantee, this is why I don't comment very much in the group, because I'm a very brash individual. So I'm sure the dumb ones will swoop in there and like, oh, this person's full of shit or blah, blah, blah. And it's, what you have to realize is this person provided us with this information that is not public before we made some of this information public to you, the listeners.
Yeah, and what's interesting is this person had no idea about Judy's investigation. No idea. Don't live in the area, has no idea, has no stake in the game, if you will. Again, it's not Billy's ex. It wasn't anybody with that, but this is a trusted person in Billy's life. And so they had no reason to lie. And it just goes to show that this is what Billy had said to this person. Again, putting himself there, having knowledge of the information. And it's super important that we put this out to everybody so you can understand our methods and why we do what we do. So I'm happy with where we're at. It's ultimately at this point up to the investigative authorities to get Kim to talk. And, she's obviously not going to talk to us.
It's a sad reality of the situation. Our job is to exhaust every resource that we have to find out the truth. Mm-hmm. Whether that truth, and we all know, I love the Petty family. You love the Petty family. But we told them from day one, our job is to find the truth. Whether, it's what you want to hear or not, I think that we've come a long way in the fact that, we keep it real with them. Marvin and Kelly, I talked to Kelly more than anybody, obviously. She's the one who submitted the case to us. She's very, very involved. But when we actually go there, I talk to Marvin more than anybody.
No, you get your hugs and kisses from Mom, Petty.
Well, I do love me some Joan time, I'm not gonna lie. And there's just the side-by-side comparisons between them and my grandparents who are still alive.
we all have an amazing relationship with the Pettys, and I know that many people have commented and sent me a message of they have, without getting emotional, they have touched the lives of so many listeners that when Mom Petty was sick and going under very risky surgery, I had so many message of, I woke up and I was thinking of her. Is everything okay? Like, she's the first thing I thought of. I'm so invested in this family. I love them, and I'm from a different state. And that just goes to show the reach that this family has. And so at some point, we do recognize that we're not law enforcement. We can't go arrest Kim. We can't bring her in to question her as much as we'd love to. We can't. And that's up
really
to the authorities. And so that's, a topic for another day. But we do love the Pettys, and I hope to see them soon. And Mom Petty's doing amazing. She commented on my Facebook yesterday, and I was like, she mentioned me. She put a posted of me and my daughter at the Taylor Swift concert last night. Hey, everyone go see Taylor Swift in the concert. It was amazing. The movie theater for us poor folk who can't go. And she's like, oh, it's such a sweet picture. And I was like, Anyway, so that's our episode for this week. We've been super excited about this one, and we hope you all enjoyed it. And we'll be back with another episode coming soon. Anything else, Justin?
No, just I encourage people to still join the Facebook group. If I would assume you're not a newer listener by now. If you've gotten this far in the podcast, but just know, stay subscribed. If you do like the podcast, rate and review it. That helps us get found by other people, and that helps Judy get found by other people who might not be listening, and just share it. And it's never been about us. It's always been about Judy. And the more people that know about Judy's case, the better. And I cannot stress that enough.
Yes.
Yeah, just help us get the word out. And like I said, I know a lot of you are coming from my podcast, my other podcast, that have been following this case. And I can't stress enough, share it. People who are into true crime, long form investigative podcasts, share the podcast. But other than that, no, I just like to thank everybody for sticking in with us. And we're not done yet, so don't be unsubscribing or anything.
Never.
We have more stuff coming, so.
Yeah. And I've had so many people message me from, hey, my true crime loves that I met in the line. They have binged our whole season already.
Have they? Good,
yes.
Good.
And people are like, I'm all caught
The
up.
wine line?
Yes. Hey,
Was it
wine
the
line.
wine line?
Yes. And so they have messaged me like, I'm all caught up. We had a couple of people order shorts from CrimeCon now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So,
Awesome.
Hey, my wine line. And it was so much fun. But
all right. Well, Melissa, it's been a good time. And all you listeners out there, thank you for following along again. I imagine we'll see you on the next one.
bye.